No one anticipated this. What's more startling than Chris Rock turning the entire internet upside down with a new man? It wasn't another argument or tirade. Blueface discovered it while incarcerated. According to accounts, he reacted violently as soon as he saw the picture. He allegedly screamed at the top of his lungs and struck a wall in his cell, forcing security to subdue him. "She was supposed to wait for me," he yelled, according to insiders. And that's only the start in what may be the most bizarre development. In Chrisean's story so far, fans are divided, bloggers are probing, and even celebrities are taking sides. This is about more than simply love. It's about obsession, treachery, and a devastated man watching his empire fall apart from a prison cell. But wait till you see what Chrisean's new lover just shared on the internet, which has already prompted Blueface's team to take legal action. You will want to see what comes next, we promise. Since this goes beyond a simple breakup, this is a conflict. We must go back a long time before we can discuss the new man or the prison collapse. Because you haven't seen half of what led up to this point if you believe this most recent revelation is crazy. In addition to being poisonous, Chrisean Rock and Blueface were a complete catastrophe disguised in high-end attire and live streaming. Their romance began with cameras, mayhem, and controversy, much like a reality show. They were kissing on stage and in love one moment, and then they were punching each other in public the next. Literally, as they spiraled. The world watched arrests, injuries, treachery, and somehow, a newborn, it should have been a new beginning. With the birth of baby Christopher Jr., however, it turned into the start of the end. Blueface went on social media tirades, disputed paternity, and even charged Chrisean with using the child as leverage. Chrisean, devastated and incensed, retaliated, with recordings, invoices, and cries of desperation. Their supporters were torn between supporting her and dragging her into the mud. The DNA test followed, verified. The father was Blueface. There was calm for a while. Family first was the mysterious tweet that Blueface even sent constantly, but it was short-lived. In a few weeks, he resumed his online flirtations, partying, and disparaging Chris, i.e. In contrast, she fell silent. No tirades on Twitter. Instagram doesn't exist. No sloppy interviews. Nothing but quiet. And people began to realize that something was different at that point. Then, gossip began to circulate. Chrissy was spotted by paparazzi at a fancy lounge in Atlanta. She wasn't by herself. She was seated next to a tall, athletic-looking man with a mysterious face and a diamond chain. Before they were seen holding hands, folks initially believed he was merely a bodyguard. Fans of Blueface flocked to the comment sections asking, did she move on that quickly? Where is the devotion? Blueface wasn't worthy of this. However, sources claim that Chrissy was finished with Blueface long before the general public knew it. One person close to her disclosed that she was emotionally checked out for months. She simply didn't want to cause her child any trouble. However, Blue would never change. Only after she went did he care. However, none anticipated that she would move on so quickly or so bravely. Chrisean had entirely changed by April. Less bloodshed, more peace, gospel lyrics, and new music. She even began sharing church footage online, including pictures of baby Junior grinning during Sunday services. She appeared to be a woman who had at last let go of the turmoil. Nevertheless, Blueface continued to observe in the background. He reportedly became fixated on checking up on her while he was in jail. He allegedly stalked her Instagram, took screenshots of her tales, and kept an eye on comments using a contraband burner phone. According to a prison insider, he couldn't let go. He cared more about her than his own situation. And after that, it took place a blurry picture of Chrissy kissing her new mystery lover outside a fancy automobile in downtown Los Angeles was released online. It was 2 a.m. She was giggling while wearing heels, and her man, as though he had been waiting his entire life to shield her, He had his arms about her. The internet took off. Insiders claimed that Blueface lost all control. He allegedly swore at a guard, kicked over a chair in the visitor section, and insisted on speaking with his attorney. But it was terror, not merely jealousy, because someone close to Blueface's squad claims that the mysterious man is more than just a rebound. He's a problem. He has connections, the insider claimed. He's not a musician, has money, property, and investments. Old money. Fears that she may come to the realization that she never needed him in the first place. And that's precisely what fans are beginning to think. However, just as it appeared that Chrissy's storybook ending was finally coming to fruition, a fresh twist happened that nobody, not even Chrisean, had anticipated. Chrisean Rock had finally broken free from the cycle of the fighting, the crying, and the painful headlines. It was meant to be her redemption arc. But in her world, tranquility is short-lived. And the storm arrived with teeth. This time, a 12-second video clip that went viral on Instagram loops and Twitter threads was released just hours after that grainy picture of her new partner appeared. It shows Chrisean laughing in a sleek black SUV as her new boyfriend gives her a casual neck kiss. However, that wasn't the main topic of conversation. The voice in the background was the voice of a baby. It spoke in a low voice, "Daddy." The internet exploded. Was Baby Jr. already calling Kristen's new man Daddy? Was she allowing her son to become so attached so quickly? It was deemed rude by Blueface supporters. It was dubbed healing by her followers. However, the actual drama was only beginning. As usual, Blueface's mother, Carlisa, entered the fray. But this time she was incensed. She criticized Chrisean for letting strangers around the baby in a since-deleted Instagram live, calling her reckless and vindictive. "How are you going to let that man hold my grandson while he gives his mother that kind of kiss in the same vehicle?" She let out a scream. "Are you attempting to take my son's place while he is incarcerated? Over my lifeless body?" Social media embraced it. Memes, responses. Chaos resulted from side-by-side comparisons of Chrisean grinning with her new partner and Blueface appearing upset in court. However, it was a leaked direct message purportedly from Blueface's hidden burner account that caused everything to fall apart. It was forwarded to one of his fan pages and said, "Does she believe it's over? Observe how quickly I flipped this. Okay. She is currently playing with my child." That is war. The screen grab went viral. War. What that signified was conjectured by fans. Legal. Conflict, dispute over custody, something more sinister. However, what transpired next was unexpected. A carousel of pictures of her and Baby Jr. at a park, smiling, laughing, and feeding ducks, was shared on Chrissy's Instagram 2 days after the DM was leaked. He was at the end of the carousel, the complete face of her new boyfriend. Not a single blur, not a shadow. Captioned, "I appreciate you demonstrating what peace looks like to me." After that, she disabled the comments. That night, the internet didn't sleep. The T pages were overflowing with unverified rumors by morning. According to some, Blueface's team intended to request immediate custody. Others asserted that he had already issued a cease and desist order to prevent the public from seeing the man's face. Then, the worst twist of all came from a phony insider. Report that for some reason seemed genuine. What do Blueface's people say about that new guy? He was a security guard for one of Blue's main competitors. This isn't a romantic tale. It is a pretext. Screenshots of the said boyfriend standing in the background of a 2022 photo, directly behind one of the rappers Blueface was at odds with, began to circulate. It was sufficient to send fans into a tailspin. Did Christopher fall for a ruse to approach her? Is this retaliation for an earlier act by Blueface? Is Baby Jr. a pawn in a street-level retaliation scheme? However, Blueface was bursting while the supporters speculated. During a late-night lockdown while incarcerated, he went live on someone else's phone. The footage was noisy, disorganized, and fuzzy. You believe you're intelligent? What? Do you really think you can act like this around my family? Chrisean, this isn't over yet. I promise you that you will see. Then the live cut out. The video was clipped, analyzed, stored, and reposted. Fans referred to it as a man in pain, and blogs referred to it as proof of threat. Christian. She remained silent. However, her quiet wasn't tranquil. That same evening, another shocking revelation came from a person close to her. She is afraid. She is unaware of his potential. This is now personal. It's no longer music. And another revelation hit the internet like a blow to the throat just as it appeared that Blueface's anger was the main issue. An audio message went viral. A woman with a trembling voice claimed to be Blueface's ex-girlfriend. From before Chrissy made a terrifying admission. He threatened to ruin her life if she ever moved on to someone better. I could actually hear him say it. She needs to be protected. Fans panicked. Haters of Blueface demanded greater jail time. As part of a smear effort, his admirers said the voice message was phony. However, even those who had previously dragged Chrisean online found something to relate to in that voice note. Because this was more than just a tangled love triangle. Now, this was beginning to appear to be a life-threatening situation, and she had no intention of retreating. Chrisean would go public once more inside the following day. Not only with her man, but also with an unexpected confession that would pave the way for the most shocking revelation to date. Chrissy broke silence less than 24 hours after Blueface's irate tirade in the jailhouse. And she didn't mince words. She held baby Junior close to her bosom, had swollen eyes, and lacked makeup when she made an unexpected Instagram Live appearance. She appeared worn out, depleted, but not broken. It's the sort of fatigue that results from enduring emotional battlegrounds. You guys find this amusing? She replied in a shrill, shaking voice. You guys believe that this is all about clicks and drama. However, for years, this man has been playing with my thoughts. She hesitated, averted her gaze, and continued. I thought I was crazy once. As it happens, I was just under control. The brief 7-minute live event was sufficient to bring down the internet. Although she didn't give names, everyone understood who she was referring to, and right as supporters believed the tension had reached its zenith, a well-known T page posted a tweet with the following headline. Blueface tried to block Chrisean's financial accounts while in jail, according to leaked court documents. Screenshots that purportedly showed attempts to stop streaming revenues, freeze joint bank accounts, and even stop payments to her baby's creche. It appeared well-planned, vicious. Chilly. Then came the most terrifying discovery to date. An obscure Instagram tale was shared by one of Chrissy's close pals, a backup dancer, who had avoided the spotlight. I pleaded with her to refrain from sharing that carousel. He has previously stated things, bizarre things, and now he is keeping an eye on everything. The message disappeared an hour later. But not before followers and pages that thrive on online controversy picked it up. Security was employed by the new leader, according to some. Others asserted that Chrisean was being watched. Even phony security cam footage purporting to capture a man pacing outside her home at night was shared by some. But it was eventually shown to be false. However, the harm had already been done. The suspicion had grown. And then, at 3 a.m, the unexpected twist was revealed, according to a phony but compelling email leak. Chrisean's new partner was not only a successful investor, but also the previous manager of Blueface's company. A man Blueface sacked in 2021 after claiming he was moving funny and stole money. A guy who supposedly promised to get even. The internet collapsed. So hold on, this was personal from the beginning. Was this something he planned? Was Christopher merely a pawn? Fans lost sight of who was playing whom, and it felt like a trap playing out in real-time betrayal on top of betrayal. Chrisean, however, said nothing until ... She published another post, a picture of her and baby Junior without any filters, a beautiful automobile, or a boyfriend. On a blanket on the grass, the two of them, grinning, captioned, "Retaliation is not healing. It's liberty." The quiet before the subsequent blast. Because Blueface's legal team made a daring declaration from behind bars not even a day later. Our client has been the target of deliberate manipulation and targeted harassment by his child's Kamas, mother and a former business associate. We are examining every available legal possibility. Strategic deception. Everyone was shaken by the words. Was he implying that Chrissy was complicit? Was it true that he was portraying himself as the victim? But it didn't sit well with Chrissy's fans. Even celebrities began to voice their opinions, some directly and others indirectly. Summer Walker posted on Twitter, "When you eventually move on, do you ever notice how males refer to it as manipulation?" The following was posted by City Girls. "I would have set everything on fire, but Chrisean is better than me." Megan Thee Stallion liked the following tweet: "Defend Black women, particularly from their history." All of a sudden, the situation went beyond romantic rumors. It was now a topic of cultural discussion, commentary, reenactments, dissections of Blueface's previous interviews, and psychological analyses of his actions began to pour into TikTok. Every video, tweet, and facial expression was examined as if it were proof. And after that, the last blow was delivered by an unexpected source, the pastor of Christ. He stated in a little church video taken during a Sunday service, when the sheep eventually quit feeding the wolves, God will take them away before they encounter a man who walks in peace. Some ladies are unaware that they are in a cage. The audience exploded in cheers. Fans were well aware of the person he was referring to. But shade wasn't the only factor here. This was more profound, because something else was going on behind the scenes. Something that isn't public yet. Something that would completely alter the situation. It had not yet been picked up by the bloggers. However, it was alluded to in a brief tweet. Do you believe the new man is clean? Take a closer look. He's not telling the whole truth about his story. And everyone will have to take back what they said once it drops. The countdown was underway, because the next chapter of her life was being discreetly written behind closed doors. Just as Chrisean believed she had escaped the worst one, and she might not be prepared for what lies ahead this time, the internet exploded. Rather than merely reacting, the internet was in full meltdown mode just hours after Blueface's legal statement and Chrisean's pastor's sermon. Threads on Twitter spread like wildfire. Fan pages began to take sides. Hour-long speculations were presented on Reddit boards. Millions of votes were dumped by Instagram gossip accounts, and the entire world split. On Team Chrisean on one side. Fierce, devoted, sentimental. They commended her for choosing peace, for concentrating on baby Junior, and for ultimately leaving. Every quotation pertaining to recovery, forgiveness, and development was reposted by them. She was even dubbed the face of survival by others. The other side, Team Blueface, furious, bitter, and defensive. They accused her of manipulating him by trapping him with a child and then using another man to complete the task she began. One tweet said, "She's just cloud hopping with better lighting." Then followed the celebrity responses, some of which were scandalous and some of which were clever. Kick Palmer reposted the following meme: "Recovery is not easy. Times it appears as though they are ignoring their self-destruction." Fans made the connection right away. On Instagram, Boosie went live to rant, "That girl is cold. She is quite cold. When he most needed her, she abandoned that man." However, on the other hand, Blue ought to have known better. She doesn't act fairly. Drea Michelle removed the following tweet: "Instead of celebrating women who survive emotional terrorism, you're crying for jailbirds." However, it wasn't all. Industry experts also started to voice their opinions. On Clubhouse, a former producer who had previously collaborated with Blueface revealed this shocking information. For years, This has been coming. Blue was aware of her breaking point. He simply doesn't think she would truly escape. And another major label manager left a remark on a blog post. I've witnessed this occur. When a man believes he owns a girl and she moves on, he feels the need to litigate. Classic. The social media algorithms devoured all of the responses as they came in for 48 hours in a row. Hashtags like hashtag Chrisean New Love, hashtag Free Blueface, and hashtag Baby Drama were in the forefront. However, the most viral event occurred when a phony but incredibly convincing tweet went viral, garnering over 1.2 million views. It asserted, from jail, Blueface made 17 attempts to call Chrisean. She let the phone rest on the baby monitor after responding once. Nobody was able to verify its authenticity, but everyone thought it was true. And it was all that was important. Users posing as Chrissy, casually filing her nails while Blueface shouted during a collect call, caused TikTok to explode with recreations of the moment. Others used dramatic music to lips, the phony voice note. Celebrities even embraced the fad. But amid the deluge of sounds, worries began to surface because something odd caught the attention of fans. Chrissy abruptly stopped sharing her new partner on social media. Her tales became increasingly obscure, quiet, and passages from the Bible, and the most dubious of all, her stylist shared a post that said, "Be careful with whom you heal. There are those who come dressed in sheep's clothing only to observe your suffering." What did that signify? Did the new man have a problem? Is everything about this relationship going to fall apart again? Fans of Blueface jumped on it right away. I told you everything. It wasn't love. This was retaliation. She was duped by a scammer. At least Blue was real, even though he might be insane. And the followers of Christ, they fell silent for the first time. Blogs began to speculate once more. One headline said, "Is the one who promised her peace going to burn Chrisean Rock?" However, there were no responses, just inquiries. Just silence. As the tension increased. In the quiet, since this is what the industry is aware of, something significant is going to happen when a woman like Chrisean stops talking. Then it took place at 11:03 p.m. Chrissy unexpectedly shared a mysterious Instagram story with a broken picture frame in the backdrop and a close-up of her face in tears. There was no caption or filter. Fans quickly enlarged the frame, zoomed it, and recognized what it contained. An image of her new partner clutching baby. Fractured, broken, similar to the false sense of tranquility she had skillfully created. Then, she erased all of his posts before anyone could notice. Gone, disappeared, as if he didn't exist. Instantly, the internet came alive. What took place? Was he unfaithful? Did he get caught? Have Blueface's threats been realized? Nobody was aware. The big surprise, however, came next. The entire fanbase was rocked by a thread that was released on Twitter by a well-known insider source who also revealed the texts from Blueface's burner account, exclusive for months. Chrissy's new partner has been the subject of an inquiry. It comes out that he is not who he claims to be and is connected to a fraudulent investment ring. Screenshots were then taken. Court documents, fraudulent LLC registrations, aliases, the man who was meant to keep her safe. Ghost? A con artist, worst. Of all, he was fully aware of Chrissy's identity prior to their meeting. According to the source, this wasn't love. This was a tactic. He examined her, specifically targeted her, and gained intimacy by taking advantage of her weakness. Fans were taken aback, betrayed, some even expressed regret to Blueface. The worst part, though, Christopher had yet to speak. Up to now, her live stream began at 2:12 a.m. once more. She was wearing a hoodie this time, and her voice was forceful but trembling. She said, "I thought I escaped the storm. However, the devil is also capable of smiling." After that, she said something that made everyone gasp. Have you ever had the feeling that you were only supposed to be watched, not loved? Utilized, made it through. She made no mention of Blueface or the man's name. However, the agony was genuine, uncooked, without filtering. And right before she logged off, the screen flashed. A notification. A verified live comment. Blueface said, "I told you. Run back now." Chatter was rife with gasps. Hundreds of people begged her not to answer in the live stream. However, she didn't. Rather, she fixed her gaze on the camera, quiet, then muttered, "No. Last live. The internet is currently ablaze once more. Will she return? Will Blueface make another attempt to woo her? Has she fully given up on love?" However, there's more. The last twist involved a blog receiving a voicemail, purportedly from Blueface's staff. A male voice says in it, "She will return. Believe me, this is how it was always supposed to end." However, not everyone is persuaded because there was only a blank screen with a single word written in white in Chrisean's most recent story. Observe. Fans are now waiting for the following action, the subsequent treachery, the subsequent explosion due to this drama. It's not quite over yet. This is merely the storm's eye. What just took place? In the span of a single moment, we transitioned from love to falsehoods, from healing to heartache. The entire world of Chrisean Rock was turned upside down once more, and this time, there might not be a way to recover. Blueface remains incarcerated, her new partner exposed, trapped between anarchy, control, and treachery. We now pose this question to you, the outside observers. Was Chrisean incorrect to move on so fast? Was it control that caused Blueface to lose it? Or did he still love her? And above all, who can she now truly trust? Leave your comments with your ideas. Without any filters or holding back, we want to hear it all. Is everyone culpable in this perverted mess? Or are you on the side of Chrisean or Blueface? Don't assume that this narrative is finished, because there is still one secret that no one is discussing. A truth that has the power to alter everything, and it will soon be revealed behind the cryptic posts and the quiet. Thus, click like, subscribe, and enable notifications. The next chapter is already in the works, and have faith in us? What follows will astound you. It's drama, it's heartbreak. The universe of Chrisean Rock is this, and it's only going to get darker.